welcome to Australia Poker Tour. I'm here with Pan Yu from CPG. He is the Chief Referee and Business Developer for CPG. Welcome to Australia Poker Tour, Pan.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Unfortunately, we just had a little bit of a knock before we got here, but all is good.
Yeah, it's fresh in my mind actually.
Yeah, you won't forget us anytime soon.
Exactly.
I can tell you that.
Exactly.
Pan, can you tell me, can you tell our viewers, please, a little bit more about CPG?
Okay, so CPG established at 2013. This is our seventh games. We have been growing since, and this year we reached to 3,121 players entries for the main event,
Right.
creating a $4.4 million prize pool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That is
pretty
a
much,
big prize pool.
pretty much the biggest one in Asia, thanks to the population of China.
Yeah.
We also trying to run as professional as we could.
Sure.
We have a professional team, and we train them really well. Also, we are officially open for international players this year. Before,
Yes.
we haven't really do it.
Sure.
So
this was your first year having international players at the event.
Yeah, we have.
I know that Australia Poker Tour sent over quite a few players,
Yep.
and they had started an affiliation with CPG, and they all came back absolutely raving and saying how much of a great event it was.
Yeah, really thanks to APT. I met Rob almost 2 years ago, and at the very first time I thought, you know what, APT is gonna become a really big and like a famous brand in Australia, because the way I see them operating the game, and it has passion.
Sure.
And they improve every single series, and they really listen to the player. They act on the feedbacks. That's how you can see a good brand increase.
Sure.
That's what we do in China. That's how we can grow so big. Then I decided, you know what, I have to have them with us. So in couple months ago, when we tried to recruit international players, I say we want to have a try with APT. I talked to Rob and talked to Melo. Then they decide to run some satellites and try to recruit players. They eventually bring up 29 players, which is awesome. And we have done our best to treat them well.
Sure. They came back and they were just absolutely raving. They raved everything from the hospitality that you provided them, the gaming experience at CPG, the island itself, the venue. They all came back saying how much of a great experience it was. So they were very, very lucky to be able to experience this poker experience.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that they did go on about was the technology that CPG uses. Can you tell me a bit more about that technology?
Oh, yeah, that's one thing we are actually really proud of. We have been using this app through when we start with 2015, and we improve since then. It basically have everything, live and online qualifier, and data tracking. The best part is registration features, which is allow you to register online.
Yeah, I understand you can register online, and then you have satellites as well using this app.
Yeah, so basically everything is through the app. When you play the live, you don't need to line up for the long queue. You just need to register online and bring up the QR code, scan one of the ticket machine. There will be auto ticket printed. Yeah, and that's one thing. And all the people were surprised. On the day 1C, in the very first level, we seating more than 1,000 players.
Wow.
We don't even have a queue. We don't have people to line up.
I can imagine it would save you so much time. Unfortunately, tournaments now still using this older method of printing out these receipts and these papers, and they're lining up, and it is quite time consuming. Players actually don't get to play.
Exactly.
They miss out on so much of that level in the first few levels, and it can be a little bit of a disadvantage to the players.
Yep.
This app is revolutionary in the poker industry for that, eliminating that downtime that players have when registering.
Yeah, when we first have our event, we have the issues and we have people line up, and poker is quite sensitive in China, so we have to do exactly what the authority asks we to do, and the authority doesn't like the line queue, and so we have to do something, and then we come up with this idea, and we tried a couple of games, and we developing and evolved, and then we finally come up with this, and it works pretty well. So I'm planning to give this app to APT as well.
Sure, that would be awesome. And unfortunately, like today, we had a massive long queue for the main event, and then for the high roller, and yeah, just to be able to eliminate that would be absolutely a tremendous advantage for our players, and really put us and CPG at the forefront of poker technology. One of the things that our players also came back and said that just even in the venue itself, the technology in Sanya Bay was just amazing. The screens were absolutely out of this world, and they were really, really excited to talk about that. Can you tell me a bit more about that? I mean, I understand that China has probably some of the best technology. That's where all our technology is born. So I would say that yes, of course, it's going to have some of that technology at the CPG.
Yeah, actually, we basically build up everything inside the app. You can actually tracking all the live event progress. And you can see what's the blind level, what's the entries, and everything is on the app. And
so you've got the app, and you could be able to use your app on the phone. Like players would be able to use the app on the phone. They can then, it would have screens around the venue, and then they can sort of interact with the screens on their phone. Or that they wouldn't need to use the screen as much because they've got it in front of them.
Because they have the phone, so pretty much. Because one thing is we don't have casino in mainland China, so we don't have the proper setup or venue. Every time we have to go to the hotel venue, the conference room, and set up everything.
It's like APT does. It's like we are a traveling circus. So we go to each city, and the circus comes to town, and we unpack everything, we set up, and then we have the event, and then it's the takedown. So
it's down to the issue of cost, and also the limit of the space. So we can set up a screen or whatever. We're using these kind of Wi-Fi monitors which link to a central computer, so they can manage to control every screens. But we still limited by the place we can put the screen in order for all the players can see. So we developed this app. It has everything. You know how many players has been sit down, you know how many people left, you know the progress of the tournament, and also you can watch live stream. And at the same time.
You mentioned before that you said that in China the poker is very sensible due to government restrictions. I mean, it's like here in Australia we have sort of saying we have to adhere by certain guidelines, and they're very strict on restrictions. How has the Chinese government how has CPG worked with the Chinese government to improve, make it easier for players to come and play poker?
Okay, basically in China, the poker tournaments has been defined as a main sport. So every rule applies is follow the sport line. It's like
the sport guidelines.
Like a tennis competition, like a golf competition. It's the same thing. So yes, you can have cash prize. Because
they have it in tennis. They have tennis tournaments. There is a cash prize. They have golf tournaments. There is a cash prize. So I think that's one of the influencing factors into allowing poker to become more mainstream and be acknowledged as a sport. I feel that it's really important because a lot of people tend to say, well, poker it's just gambling, it's just a casino game. It's actually not. I see it as
it's a wagering game, and it's skill.
There is a lot of skill involved. There is a lot of mind, endurance that you need to go through when you are playing a tournament, because they can go for a very long time. So I would recommend that it's a sport. So
that's how we dress up the poker, and we have to follow strict regulations. There's no no rebate at all.
Sure.
So the main event is
So no rebuy.
no rebate at all.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, because there's most people complain about from
Yeah,
overseas and
unfortunately,
they want to rebuy into the game.
Yeah, but
unfortunately
you can't.
Yeah, this is the regulation. The reason why we had a lot of competition before years ago.
Yeah.
We have WSOP China, we have WPT China.
Yeah.
They all run by a big company.
Sure.
But they all got shut down
Yeah.
because
There's a casino
they
element
want to
in it,
copy. They want to copy exactly what the Western, the casino
Sure.
poker tournament how they runs, but it actually against the regulation.
So you just need to tell them, listen, no rebuy, and it's this or nothing. That's it.
Yeah,
we
just
have
gonna-
to follow. I mean, with Australia Poker Tour as well,
Yeah.
we are in the same boat. There are strict guidelines. We are very happy to be able to produce such a great event and bring a great event to our players, but there are very
Certain rules you have to
strict
follow.
guidelines
Yeah.
that you have to follow.
Yeah.
So I can definitely relate to you on that in that area.
Exactly. That's when people ask them and say, we want you to have more options and more buy-ins and blah blah. It's good for us, but unfortunately, in order to make the game run smoothly and safely, we have to follow the regulations.
That's right. That's why they're there. So
That's why we grew up and others died.
and speaking of growing up, what's your background?
Me?
Yes.
I actually, that's one of the funny things. I used to work in Crown Casino.
At the Crown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I quit at the 2016
Yep.
and went back to China because I believe poker in China is booming.
Sure.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's really complicated. It's really kind of chaos in
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
And then eventually, maybe because my specialties and the background of poker and also understanding of how things works and speak really good English, the CPG recruit me as their international
Sure.
business developer, and also I do run the games as well.
And again, our players have come back and they are just raving. They raved about the CPG and this Pan. Everybody kept telling me, oh, Pan was fantastic. Pan did this and Pan did that, and he was so good. And I was like, well I wonder if I'm ever going to get to meet this Pan, or do I have to wait for the next CPG? Which brings me to my next question.
Yes.
The next CPG 2020.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit of inside information? What's
Alright.
happening? When's it going to be?
All right. So how CPG runs, we not just have one game a year. We have several, 5 to 6, like 6 events
Sure.
around different cities, different major cities in China.
Wow. Okay.
But the biggest one always be the one in Sanya in the
In
last
Sanya
week
Bay?
of August. And that's what we call the CPG Championship. And the other game, by regulations, we run like a normal MTTs tournaments, but it's called by satellite.
Okay.
It's called the satellite. So we feeding the August event many players with the satellite, but the satellite is run like a normal tournaments. It's only everyone in the money will automatically get a seat for the August event.
Wow. Okay.
So through the year we have last year we have roughly 680 seats through the satellite into our games, and also roughly 1,800 seats from online.
Wow.
That's why we can create more than 3,000
Sure.
player pool. This year we have 2 extra stops so we have Shanghai, we have Anji, we have
Wow. I
Guangzhou.
have to go to Shanghai as
Yeah,
well.
we also have
Oh.
Guangzhou stops.
Yeah.
And now we have Zhuhai, which is between Guangzhou and Macau.
Sure.
It's like a medium city
Oh,
between,
wow.
between the,
Yep.
and we will have Fuzhou, and so we are expanding in different cities because the more game we run, and the local authority will see, okay, they follow the rule.
Sure. They're following the rules. They are keeping up with the regulations, and they are basically you're doing everything by the book.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
would impress them
Yeah,
quite
and
a
also
bit.
the local authority say, oh, they successful running in Shanghai. Now they have the game in Guangzhou.
Yeah.
So if they don't have issues with that, we can hold that game
Sure.
because we bring a lot of players, we bring a lot
And
of...
also there is that tourism element that
Exactly.
you are providing not only poker to that particular
Yeah.
city or that particular region, but you're actually you're now, you said that this year you have opened it up to international players, so we're able to go there and play, and you're actually now bringing in these international players.
Yeah.
which is not only boosting CPG,
Also
but
the-
it's actually boosting the tourism
Yeah.
for China, which
Yeah.
is absolutely fantastic. It's such a great initiative.
Yeah, that's the idea. Only the way we see through the poker tournament is not just a game for cash prize
Sure.
or for just poker. So you know you're not gonna spend a lot of money traveling and time and just for poker. You want to go a new place and to have fun, to have a local scene. That's why when our APT players comes
Mhm.
and I take them to a day tour and take them to
Sure,
Sanya.
you want to see a bit of the city as well.
Yeah.
It's not just poker. You want to see sort of the highlights of Sanya Bay as well, and it sounds amazing, absolutely beautiful. I mean, so how do I get a ticket next year?
Well, there's plenty of ways you can go
Alright.
through APT's event. You
No,
can,
that's too hard. What about me and you, Pan? You can maybe work out a ticket for me. Yep, not a problem. I'll speak to Pan later with that. How did you go with your main event?
Which one?
The main event here. Did you
Yeah.
play it?
Oh yeah, I backed for day 2, but I lost 2 critical flip and then basically like a couple.
Unlucky.
Yeah,
That's so
it's a
unlucky.
poker.
But that is poker. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no, it's a flip, and both of us done nothing wrong, and I'm pocket both in front, a little bit in front at the beginning,
Sure.
but always ace on the windows. Nothing we can do.
But did you have fun?
Yeah, of course. And then, to be honest, the reason I choose ABT is because, well, they may not as professional as the casino tournaments.
That's right.
But they are actually trying their best to provide, not like
It's I think it's one of the best things about it is it's a professional, fun environment.
Exactly.
So you're still going there, you're still having fun, you're playing your games. We still got restrictions and you still got guidelines that we
Yeah.
have to follow,
Yeah.
like casinos and so forth. But there is a little bit more of that fun element
Yeah.
and much more relaxed
Yeah,
and
I
a
agree.
relaxed environment, which is
I totally
absolutely
agree
awesome.
with that. That's the one thing I said before. Also, ABT will probably just be a small pub game, and
Sure.
just chaos and noise, and then it's
Yeah, I was
surprisingly
the
professional.
exact same. When I first started at APT, I thought, oh, it's gonna be like a pub league,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't really like the pub leagues. And then I came and I went, wow, this is a big, huge professional tournament. Like you said,
The whole
it's
team,
amazing.
the whole team is passionate about poker.
Yes.
And they actually put a lot of effort. I can see how hard they're working, and I mean, I can feel them because I work exactly same role, and I can tell. That's why, why I choose ABT as
Sure.
our business partner affiliate in Australia. And the idea, we're gonna bring player to APT's event in Sydney, in April, and it's just like same thing. We want our player to have
That experience.
experience the international poker experience
Sure.
as well. So that's the idea, and we will work with more like the game in Japan, gaming. So at the end, when we have a big player
Sure.
family and everyone is like player from Australia, I want to have a holiday in Japan.
Yeah.
What we do, we can play a sideline. We will still play poker, have fun. If I win the package, you know what? A really fun Japanese trip.
Yes.
If I want to go to China, if I want to go to Singapore, it just the concept of a holiday tour poker experience.
Sure. Well, Pan, it's been so lovely to talk to you
Yeah.
and to learn a little bit more about CPG. And like I said, I was absolutely jealous when they all came back and they've talked non-stop about it. So I do hope Matt to actually come there next year. Me and you will talk about that later.
Yeah, of course.
And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your stay here in Australia and with APT. You're going to be playing any more events?
I'll see.
see.
I'm a professional game operator, but I'm not the good player.
It's a bit of fun. We might get you to jump into one of our last two events here at Australia Poker Tour. Thank you so much, Pan Yu from CPG. Guys, please make sure you come out and check out all the photos that was posted from the Asian package experience with CPG. You guys will absolutely love it, as we have enjoyed it, and we've enjoyed this whole journey. The way we were able to satellite into games and win packages, and it was just an absolute amazing experience. So thank you again,
Yeah,
and thank you everybody for watching.
Well, thanks everyone.